Theme 2: Kings, Farmers and Towns. Early States and Economies. 600 BC to 600 CE. Harappan culture came to an end around 1900 BC. There were several developments in different parts of the subcontinent during the span of 1500 years following the end of the Harappan civilization. Rigveda composed. Agricultural settlements emerged. Pastoral society emerged in Deccan and Karnataka. Megalithic culture emerged in central India and South India. Emergence of city-states. Emergence of town. Inscription. Inscriptions are permanent records, writing engraved on hard surfaces such as stones, metal, and pottery. Usually record the achievements of the rulers, donation to religious institutions. Earlier inscriptions were in Prakrit. Inscriptions are also found in Pali, Tamil, and Sanskrit. Study of inscription is called epigraphy. Study of style of writing is called paleography. Princeps and Piyadashi. Brahmi and Garosti were two scripts used in the earliest inscriptions and coins. James Prinsep, who deciphered Brahmi and Garosti. Most of these inscriptions mentioned a king referred to as Piyadashi, meaning pleasant to behold. A few inscriptions which also referred to a king as Ashoka. Languages and scripts. Most Ashokan inscriptions were in the Prakrit language, while those in the northwest of the subcontinent were in Aramic and Greek. Most Prakrit inscriptions were written in the Brahmi script. However, some in the northwest were written in Garosti. The Aramic and the Greek scripts were used for inscriptions in Afghanistan. The earliest states, 6th century BC, is regarded as a major turning point in the early Indian history because emergence of early states, growing use of iron, growth of diverse system of thought, developments of coinage, emergence of cities. The Mahajanapadas, the early Buddhist and Jainist text mention 16 states known as Mahajanapadas. Jana means tribe or people. Pada means foot. Janapada means territorial state. The most important Janapadas were Vaji, Magadha, Kosala, Kuru, Panchala, Gandhara, Avanti. Most Mahajanapadas were ruled by kings. Some were oligarchies, known as Ganas and Sanghas, where power was shared by a number of men, collectively called Rajas. Each Mahajanapada had a capital, which was fortified. It had armies and bureaucracies. From 6th century BC onwards, Brahmins began composing Dharma Sutra. These laid down norms for rulers. They collected taxes from the cultivators. Raids on neighboring states recognized as legal. Gradually, some states maintained standing army and bureaucracies. First among the 16, Magadha. Between 6th century BC and 4th century BC, Magadha became a most powerful Mahajanapada. causes for the emergence of Magadha. Magadha region was more fertile, where agriculture was more productive. Availability of iron. Iron mines provided resources for tools. Availability of elephant. Elephant was an important part of the army. Ganga and its tributaries provided cheap means of communication and transportation. Powerful kings like Bimbisara, Ajatashatru, Mahapadmananda helped to emergence of Magadha as a superpower. Rajagriha was the capital of Magadha. It means house of the king. Rajagriha was the fortified settlement located among the hills. Later 4th century BC, the capital was shifted to Padaliputra, present-day Patna. It was surrounded by tributaries of Ganga river. An early empire. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Mauryan Empire. His grandson Ashoka was the most famous ruler. He conquered Kalinga. Finding out about Maurya's sources, archaeological sources, contemporary works, Indica of Megasthenes. Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Arthashastra of Kaudilya. Kaudilya was a minister of Chandragupta Maurya. Buddhist Jaina Prakrit literature. Sanskrit literary works, for example Mrichakadika. Rock and pillar inscription of Ashoka. Ashoka Dhamma. Dhamma is a Prakrit word meaning dharma. It is a code of morality, tolerance, non-violence, and welfare of the people were the main fundamental law of dharma. Ashoka was the first ruler who inscribed his message to his subjects and officials on stone surfaces, natural rocks, as well as polished pillars. Dharma included respect towards elders, Brahmins, and monks, treating slaves and servants kindly, respect for religions and traditions of other than one's own. Mauryan administration. There are five major political centers in the empire: Padaliputra, Taxila, Ujjaini, Tosali, and Suvarnagiri. Mauryan army. Megasthenes mentioned a committee with six subcommittees for coordinating military activities. Six subcommittees. 1. Looked after the navy. Second, managed transport and provisions. The third was responsible for foot soldiers. The fourth for horses. The fifth for chariots. The sixth for elephant. Ashoka tried to hold his empire together by propagating dharma. Special officers known as Dharma Mahamata was appointed to spread the message of dharma. New notions of kingship. Post-Mauryan period. After the decline of Mauryan Empire, a number of new kingdoms emerged in India. Northwest part of India, Greeks, Shakas, Kushans, and Parthians. Gangetic plain, Sungas and Kanwas. Deccan, Satavahanas. South India, Cholas, Pandyas, and Cheras. They were called Muvendar, divine kings. One strategy of claiming high status was to identify with a variety of deities. This strategy of divine status is best followed by the Kushans. Kushans ruled over northwest part of India. Kanishka was the most famous Kushana ruler. Strategies used to claim divinity identify themselves with a variety of deities, installing colossal statues. For example, colossal statue installed in a shrine of Mat near Madura and in Afghanistan. Adopting high sounding titles, for example, Devaputra, performing huge sacrifices, composing Prasasti, for example, Prayag Prasasti, also known as Allahabad Pillar Inscription. It was composed by Harisena, the court poet of Samudragupta. A changing countryside, popular perceptions of kings. Inscriptions did not provide of their thoughts and experience of the ordinary people. Historians have tried to solve the problem by examining stories such as Jataka and Panchatantra. Many of these stories originated a popular oral tales. Later it committed to writing. Jatakas were written in Pali, middle of the 1st century. One story known as Gandathindu. This story describes the plight of the subjects of a wicked king. The story indicates the relationship between a king and his subjects. King frequently demanding high tax. The people had two options: escaping into the forest, increasing production to meet growing demand for taxes. Strategies for increasing production. Peasants used some strategies for increasing productivity. Use of iron-tipped plowshare. The iron-tipped plowshare began to use in river valleys such as the Ganga and Kaveri around 6th century BC. The introduction of transplantation. With the introduction of transplantation, production of paddy was dramatically increased. Use of irrigation. Communities and individuals organized the construction of irrigation works. For example, Rudradaman, a Shaka ruler, repaired Sudarsana Lake. Girnar inscription mentioned the achievements of Shaka ruler Rudradaman. Differences in rural society. The use of new technologies led to increase in production, but the benefits were not shared. There was growing differences among the people engaged in agriculture. Stories of Buddhist tradition referred to landless agricultural laborers, small peasants, large landlords. Pali text referred to a term, Gahapadi, means small peasants and large landlords. The large landlords and the village headman emerged as a powerful figure. They controlled cultivation. Early Tamil literature also mentioned different categories of the people living in the village. Vellalar, large landowners. Uഴவர், plowmen. Adime, slaves. These differences were based on land, labor, and new technology. Land grants and new rural elites. From the early century, grants of land being made, many of which were recorded on inscriptions. Some of the inscriptions were on stone, most of them were on copper plate. These records referred land grants, generally grants to religious institutions or Brahmins. Most inscriptions were in Prakrit, while rest was in a local language such as Tamil or Telugu. For example, Prabhavati Gupta was the daughter of one of the important ruler of Gupta dynasty, Chandragupta II. She was married to another ruling family, Vagadagas. Inscription referred she granted land to Brahmins. This inscription also gives us an idea about the rural populations. These include Brahmins and peasants. Impact of land grants. It was a strategy adopted by ruling class to extend agriculture to new areas. Land grants were indicative of weakening political power. Kings were losing control over their samantas, so they tried to win allies by making grants of land. Kings tried to project themselves as supreme because they were losing control. An agrahara was land granted to a Brahmana who was usually exempted from paying land revenue and other dues to the king and was often given the right to collect these dues from the local people. Towns and trade. New cities. From 6th century CE onwards, several urban centers emerged in different parts of the subcontinent. Many of these were capitals of Mahajanapadas. All major towns were located along routes of communication. Padaliputra on the banks of Gangetic River, Ujjaini along land route, Puhar near the coast. Cities like Mathura were the centers of commercial, cultural, and political activity. Urban population, allies and craft persons. King and allies lived in fortified cities. Wide range of artifacts have been discovered. This includes fine pottery and dishes with a glossy finish known as NBPW, Northern Black Polished Ware, probably used by rich people. By the 2nd century BC, we find short votive inscriptions in number of cities. They tell us about people who lived in towns, washing folk, weavers, scribes, carpenters, potters, goldsmiths, blacksmiths, officials, religious teachers, merchants, and kings. Inscriptions also mentioned guild or shrine, organiza- organization of craft producers and merchants, trade in the subcontinent and beyond. From BC 6th century, trade was expanded to the subcontinent and beyond in various directions, overland into Central Asia and beyond, overseas to East and North Africa and West Asia, through the Bay of Bengal to Southeast Asia and China. Rulers attempted to control these routes and offering protection for a price. Peddlers possibly traveled on foot. Merchants might have been traveled with caravans of bullock carts and pack animals. Seafarers whose journey were risky but highly profitable. Successful merchants called Masatuvan in Tamil, Sethis and Satavahas in Pragar, coins and kings. With the introduction of coins, exchanges were smooth. The earliest mint and used coins were punch-marked coins made of silver and copper. Punch-marked coins so named because symbols were punched on the metal surface. The study of coins is called numismatics. The study of coins helped us to reconstruct a commercial network and ruling dynasties. Coins were issued by kings, merchants, bankers, town people, tribal republic. Coins were also issued by tribal republic such as that Yaudayas of Punjab and Haryana. The first coin to bear the name and image of rulers were issued by Indo-Greek. They controlled over northwest part of the India. The first gold coins were issued by the Kushans. From the 6th century onwards, circulation of coins reduced. There are two arguments regarding this issue. One argument is that with the collapse of Western Roman Empire, long distance trade collapsed and it affected the prosperity of the state. Another view is that new towns and network of trade emerged during this period. They also pointed out that though finds of coins of that time are fewer, coins continued to mention in inscription and text. There are fewer finds because coins were in circulation rather than being hoarded. Back to basic. How are inscriptions deciphered? Deciphering Brahmi. Most of the modern Indian scripts are derived from Brahmi script. Ashokan's inscriptions mainly used Brahmi script. European scholars tried to decipher Brahmi with the help of Indian Pandit. James Prinsep deciphered Ashokan Brahmi in 1838. James Prinsep deciphered Ashokan Brahmi in 1838. How Garoshti was read? Garoshti script used in inscriptions in northwest part of India. Indo-Greek coins of Indo-Greek rulers over the areas contain names of king written in Greek and Garoshti script. European scholars could read the Greek. It could decipher compare with Greek. Prince of identifying the language of the Garoshti inscription as Prakrit. Historical evidence from inscriptions. Epigraphists and historians and some used some method to identify historical evidence from inscriptions. For example, to Ashokan inscription, first note that the name of the ruler Ashoka is not mentioned in the inscription. Instead, used titles adopted by the ruler, Devanam Piya, translated as beloved of the gods, and Piyadashi, pleasant to behold. The name Ashoka mentioned in some other inscription which also contain these titles. After matching all inscriptions and finding that the style, language and paleography are same, concluded that they were issued by the same ruler. The limitations of inscriptional evidences. It has some technical limitations. Letters are very faintly engraved. Inscription may be damages or letter missing. It is not easy to sure about the exact meaning of the words used in inscription, some of which may be specific to particular place or time. Several thousands of inscriptions have been discovered. Not all have been deciphered, published, and translated. More fundamental problem is that politically or economically significance was not recorded in inscription. For instance, agricultural practices and joy and sorrows of daily life not mentioned in inscriptions, which focused more on grand unique events. Inscriptions projects the perspective of the person who commissioned them.